Best Medicine Podcast with Simba. Sparking positive change in the community. Having real conversations and therapy. And you know that laughter's the best remedy. Got that heavy dose of humor for your hearts to heal. With mental health, it can't get any more real, yeah. Best Medicine Podcast. Laugh, love, learn. Best Medicine Podcast.
And we back again for another episode. This is the Best Med Pod. This is The Diagnosis. It's your man Simba Roar back in this thing one more time, bruh. And I have another special guest. All I have is special guests. If you want to listen to this show, just know I'm going to have a special guest. That's all y'all need to know. But today, it's one of my OGs in the game. Show me how to move. What do they say? Show me how to move in a room full of vultures. Some somebody I've been watching move for about. It's been a good,
nice little minute.
Yeah, almost a decade at this point.
Yeah, real talk.
Almost a decade at this point, and remain solid. And I've seen it. I've seen growth. I've seen the progression. You know, I want to introduce y'all to the Harlem Star. Spaceship. What's going on?
What's going on, man? How's everything? My boy Simba.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's good, man? How's that Cali life over there, man?
Oh, man, it's getting warm out here, man. It's getting warm out here. It's almost time for it's sundress season right now. So everything looking nice out here.
Yeah, I need to come over there. I'm supposed to be over there probably, next week or something like that. But we're going to figure it out.
Okay.
If I could head west, you know what I mean? We're going to figure something out.
Man, it's all gravy. It's all gravy. I'll be off for a few minutes. We can connect and build.
Yeah, facts. Other than that, man, what's good?
Man, just introduce yourself for the people who don't know you.
Yeah, I'm the Harlem Star from the Spaceship, What's good, everybody from the East Coast, repping Harlem. Uptown, downtown, east side, west side, I'm all over.
Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, facts, man. Well, shout out to the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, 5 boroughs, Jersey, tri-state area and everything, CT.
Yeah, this that East Coast, West Coast love right here.
Yeah, man. Always had that endless connection.
Definitely. Man, I the first time I heard about you was on some projects, and I was like, "Who is this nigga rapping? This nigga can do little cool little shit with his flows." And I'm like, "Oh, who is this dude?" And then I heard beats. I think the first beat was the was it Cassie? You sampled Cassie.
Man, I don't know, bro. It's been
so many chops, huh?
So many chops ago, man.
Man, I think he sampled Cassie, and that shit was crazy. I was like, bro, I gotta hit this man and tell him that this is the dopest shit ever.
Yeah, man. So it's always been fun, man. You already know with the whole Charles Hamilton run and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Charles run. Shout out to Charles Hamilton and the whole DeMevilis crew.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets greater later, man. Keep telling everybody, man. So much to talk about. It gets greater.
All right, we definitely gonna get into it. So, for the people who's uninitiated, who was the Harlem Star?
Harlem Star pretty much, kid from Harlem. Father died when he was 6 years old. So, growing up in Harlem, uptown, more so in Sugar Hill area.
Yeah.
Where, if you're familiar with Harlem, that's more of a, prominent drug area, And, a lot of things happen. So, my dad being from Brooklyn, he actually died in Harlem or whatever. So, he moved out the area and moved me downtown to Harlem. So,
right.
Me moving down there is just a whole, whole different kind of savage. Because, uptown more of a kind of get money. They get busy too. But downtown was more so like gangland, you know what I mean? So we got to kind of get a little West Coast vibes when it came to that as far as gangland, That's why I got gang life. You know what I mean? So, other than that, but, growing up downtown Harlem is a little little different. You know, Broadway, Uptown, Sugar Hill, you got like the water and all of that over there. So it's like, you know, a little more like happier, brighter vibes over there when it comes to like the community. Downtown, kind of a little more darker, you know what I mean? But you know, it's still communal though. But you go, there's more clicked up by blocks versus, you know, just the whole community just being in sync, you know what I mean? Pretty much.
Right. The difference is like everybody getting money up top. Downtown is cutthroat.
Yeah, not even. Like, I'm gonna keep it funky. Like downtown, like everybody get money uptown. Don't get me wrong, but downtown's a little different because my block where I actually grew up from is like 114th Street. That was like one of the biggest drug blocks in Harlem. Like, period. Like, you can ask anybody from 155th to 110th Street, east to west, about my block 114th Street. It's like we kind of even changed the whole way everybody kind of pretty much was hustling in Harlem as far as like not even bagging up the work and all of that, you know, kind of, you know, on the street level with certain things, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it was a lot of little different. And then downtown's a little more aggressive, you know, people a little more aggressive down there than they are pretty much uptown. Uptown, you could, you know, get to kind of walk past a few blocks and you might be all right. Downtown, you might be on the wrong block and might not know the, you know, right people.
And they own you.
Yeah, they own you, yeah. And, you know, I come from the era where, you know, the Bloods and the Crips kind of came to New York. So it's like my area was a heavy blood area, especially, you know Harlem for being more of a blood area. So, you know what I mean, just dealing with, you know, those obstacles growing up and not even being gang affiliated and having to survive that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of cool, you know what I mean? As far as like, you know, it's crazy. It's cool because you know how to, you know, survive or whatever through it, but, you know, it's crazy time.
Yeah, bet. You, when did you start seeing the gangs as far as the Bloods and the Crips in New York?
What was that shit like? What, like 6th grade? I think when I was about like 11, 12 years old. That's when it kind of hit heavy. What's
that? 80 what? Or that's what, 94, 95, huh? That's like what, 95?
That's about like 97, 98.
Yeah.
97, 98, 99 around that time. Yeah.
So you in 6th grade? That's what, 12, 11 years old, right?
Yes, yeah. I actually got robbed around that time too. That's it, but it changed my whole dynamic. That's what kind of, you know, made me a little tougher at that time.
You had to be, right? So so what does that change look like from it not being no Bloods and no Crips, not knowing what the fuck that was? Imagine what was the first time somebody was like, yeah, Blood? He was like, what?
It's crazy because it all started like Halloween of that year, right? So it's like, you know, you start hearing this 031 thing, and it's like, yo, what is 031? Oh, October 31st. And you're like, all right, all I know is Halloween. You know, people might throw some eggs and shit at you.
Right.
And then, you know, you start realizing, like, all right, around Halloween, they talking about people starting to get cut in their face and shit like that around, you know, the neighborhood. And it'd be like anybody from, you know, somebody who might be at least like 12 years old to, you know, probably a grown man or something like that. You know, they'll approach you, like, you know, ask you what the time is, like, you know, what time it is and whatever. You know, go to look at your watch. As soon as you look down at your watch, you know, somebody go cut you or whatever. That's kind of pretty much how it started. And, you know, like, you know, think about being 12 years old, hearing some shit like that. It's like, oh, you damn near be afraid of these motherfuckers. Like, wait, hold on. Somebody gonna ask me what time it is and cut my face? Like,
yeah, that's real.
Yeah, so, you know, that kind of changed, like, a lot of dynamics of even being, you know, comfortable enough in even at Harlem. Because Harlem was, you know, it's a tough place, you know what I mean? You know, bro, but it's more communal. Like, that kind of separated the whole community aspect because, like, now you just got to look out for just straight savages just is out there looking to cut your face for initiation points, you know what I mean, pretty much. Because that's what it was about. It wasn't, like, more so just people just going out there just being crazy about it. It's like, yo, they want to be a part of the game.
Yeah, because that shit just started.
Yeah.
So everybody was trying to get put on for protection.
Yeah, you know, and then, you know, a lot of times it'd be the weak person or whatever. So,
yeah, trying to be bad.
Block, he want to go cut somebody's face, so he going, instead of cutting somebody who he thinks is going to cut him back, you're going to go after the little weak kid in the uniform, you know what I mean, and going to cut his face or whatever the case is and try to get your points like that. And in reality, you pretty much are more afraid than the kid that you even cut. Right.
That's wild. That's wild. So you was younger. You was too young to even see it from the gang side. You just saw it as a kid. Like these older niggas out here tripping right now.
Oh yeah, wilding out, bro. Like I remember the first time, the first and the last time I got robbed, but that changed my whole dynamic because now, you know, after I got robbed, now I got to kind of get with the program now because it's like, all right, either you're gonna be a victim or you're gonna be, you know, the one that's out there. You're a predator or prey.
Yeah, facts.
So, you know, pretty much. You know, walking from school. I think it came from like a school trip in 6th grade. You know, back then that was that whole grilling shit. You know, you can't grill nobody and shit like that. So you give somebody too much eye contact, which is grilling. You know, you give somebody too much eye contact, they feel like you
want a problem.
You challenging them or some shit like
that.
You feel me? So, you know, I'm walking past like probably like 16-year-olds and shit. I'm about 12. You know, you look at them or whatever, just eye contact, and you know, you keep walking. You know, you just get a vibe like, you know, somebody following me.
Yeah.
So I'm walking with my bands and shit. I'm like, yo, what's going on? So I look through the store, you know, the store glass, because, you know, you see the reflection and shit.
Right.
You see the second two dudes keep following me down the block. So my man, he going uptown, I go downtown. So, you know, I'm leaving going downtown. They following me the whole way and shit.
Damn.
I get in front of my grandmother's church and shit. As soon as I get in front of the church, homie runs down on me with the knife and shit. Like, yo, run your shit, bro. I'm like, damn, I already knew it. I just gave him the bag. Like, hey, man, I got my Game Boy, my Walkman in there. All I got, man.
Yeah.
It was like, I already knew what time it was. You feel me? So it's like, yo, you know, I had to respect the jokes at the time. So I gave it up to him or whatever the case is. And after that, I was just mad emotional. And like, versus like being like hurt. I was angry hurt. Like, you know what I mean? So from that day forth, I used to get my little, you know, Swiss Army knives and shit. You know, you go to little spots where, you know, they ain't really supposed to be selling certain things to kids, but, you know, they just about the money, so they might hit you off with a little banger or something like that. And, you know, you walking around 12 years old with your little banger around Harlem, you know, just making sure nobody don't mess with you. It ain't more so on you want to go mess with somebody. It's like, yo, these older niggas pull up on me. I might have to hit one of them.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Just for yourself, you know?
So now that the gang culture brought a sense of uncertainty and just unsafeness in the community.
Real talk, especially in my community, like, that shit is like scary almost to a certain degree, to the point where, you know, it gets so, you're so afraid that it becomes fearlessness, you know what I mean?
Right.
If, you know, depending, like I keep telling people, there's two reactions. You either become more of a punk or you become more of a savage by being in that environment.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, because the killings over drugs was isolated to the drug game.
You understand, like, that was around the time where it's like, you know, the drug game dying in New York. Like, if you pay attention, like, the whole game, like, the 80s, the early 90s, it was kind of hitting. But around, like, 98, 99, you know, the Rockefeller drug law came in. So, Giuliani is actually in office. So, a lot of this stuff starting to get cleaned up on these streets. So, it's like, the money's slowing up. The younger ones ain't getting put on about no money. So, it's not about money no more. Now it's about everybody frustrated trying to, you know, dominate for more so, you know, the testosterone aspect versus, or the alpha maleism versus actually trying to get to the dollar.
Right. So so now you got little 12, 13-year-olds. Everybody got something on them now.
Pretty much, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. You got people joining gangs and all that. Ain't really raised like that. You got, it's real.
Which puts somebody who's not about the life in a bad situation, because if they get pulled over, now they got something on them. Oh,
I mean, that was before the whole stop and frisk situation. You understand? Like, New York not really a driving city. Like, we don't really have to drive because we got the subways and the buses and all of that.
Right.
You know, around those times, it was more so the stop and frisk era.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you might get caught with something or whatever, but depending on the cop and depending on what they actually looking for will determine whether you actually be, you know, penalized for what you got on you. So if I got a little knife on me, or whatever the case is, cop come pull up on me, you know, searching me or whatever the case is, he might be looking for drugs or whatever. So he'll take the knife, and I ain't got no drugs on me, so you let me go ahead or whatever. Then you got another cop that might, you know, just looking for, you know, some vigilante. He might, you know, chastise you. It just all depends on your attitude and all that. Like, New York cops, NYPD different. Like they different. It's like really like your interaction with them versus how racist they might be or how they feel about it. It might not even be racism. It might be you know, a middle class, quote unquote, cop that feel like he better than everybody from the hood, and he giving everybody heat because he feel like he better than everybody for being a cop. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of different dynamics there. Different dynamics. But other than that, as far as like, you know, getting caught up or, you know, get pulled, I really like, you know, New York's so big or whatever. It's like you got to really be kind of doing something or whatever the case is. And I really come from like the fighters era, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, to have a banger on you was a little extreme at that time, because, like, you know, people would do it, but ain't nobody was really, like, planning on using it, hopefully deep down inside, whatever the case is around that time. It was like, you know, it was more of a, let me get you up off of me, kind of, or let me threaten you so I could get something easier, but I ain't really trying to use it aspect, you feel me? Not to say it wasn't people that got cut, there's people out here with, you know, cuts on their faces and all that, but I'm just saying, but that's for like a little bit older than me, but for my generation at that time, it was like more so, like, you know, it was like more so like Wolf Ticket, you know what I mean, kind of situation.
Yeah, I got it on me. You're not going to mess with me.
Yeah, I got it on me. Give me your shit or whatever. I got it on me, bro. Back up. You ain't taking nothing from me. Kind of situation, you feel me? More so of that, you know. But it definitely did get used from time to time, but not majority. Like, I come from, my hood was more of a jumpers hood, so it's like, if you're part of a gang or something like that, or, you know, a situation, and you get into some beef or something like that or whatever, like, you fuck with the wrong person, it could be 30 niggas in front of your building or whatever waiting to whoop your little ass, and they might be 30, 12-year-olds to 14 to 15-year-olds outside waiting to jump you, and you might be 11 years old, and it's like, yo, bro, these fucking niggas out here about to beat my ass, and it's like, yo, it's crazy.
That's
your
wild
come
as
out
fuck.
there, jump your mother, like one of those kind of.
That's wild as fuck.
Oh, yeah, they'll beat your parents up, too. Like, it's one of those. Like, you know what I mean? Especially if your moms ain't respected, or, you know, they ain't got, like, you know, love for your moms in the hood or whatever the case is. Like,
right.
Yeah, they'll beat your mother up.
That's an ill place to be.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's crazy because it don't happen, like, crazy, but it's like, yo, it's time you get into some shit. It's like, yo, this nigga, they beat homie mother up. Like, it'd be crazy. Or the girls will be around, you know, they edgy too because all the fighting going on, and they'll jump on the homie moms or something like that. Or jump on the sister. For no reason, though. She came to break it up and all that. It wasn't even aggressive or none of that. She telling everybody, relax, chill.
Get off my baby.
Just pop it off on her, just what she did.
All right, so we go from seeing the gangs in middle school. So then, what does high school look like?
High school.
What school did you go to?
I went to Frederick Douglass Academy.
Okay.
That's FDA back at that time was a little bit more prestige than it is now. It was kind of looked at like more of the bougier school of Harlem, pretty much. But you know, it still had its hood aspects. But you know, we was the quote unquote smart kids of the neighborhood. You know what I mean?
And that's a music school.
Not even, because like early in my age, I actually did go to music school. I went to Choir Academy of Harlem. Like, you know, that was that whole 6th grade story. So,
right.
You know, we wore uniform and we were singers and shit. And we got out a little bit later than the average kid and shit around that time. So
everybody was already out.
Yeah, we was a little bit more of a target at that time. Or those them singing niggas that get out late. You know what I mean? Let's pull up on them niggas.
Yeah.
But high school was more so like FDA was a little more, I don't know, like, you know, a little more of a wake-up call. Still kind of cool because, you know, you had the uniform aspect, so it wasn't like you had to really style too crazy, but you found little ways to kind of, you know, add a little spice, a little swag to your uniform or whatever.
Y'all got to wear whatever shoes y'all wanted?
Like, at first, they kind of let us rock, but then after that, they just wanted you to wear straight church shoes or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we used to be mad defiant, so we'll come in with our Jordans, Barclays, different color Nikes, and, you know, get sent home or written up or detention room. You know how that goes being teenagers or whatever.
Definitely, because I went to a Catholic school.
Oh, yeah?
So, you know, when I'm coming home, everybody, oh, what's up, church boy? What's up, church boy?
Yeah, that kind of... Facts.
And it didn't help. Yeah, it didn't help. I was at church all day Sunday, so they was.
They're ready to put you in the category.
Yeah,
and stamped you already in the hood.
Exactly, but everybody knew. Oh yeah, that's church boy. It's good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, fact. Yeah, but high school was just regular. Like 9th grade, pretty much, you know, you learning the ropes of the situation. Like me, I didn't really have no place because this was before, like, I was really rapping or whatever. Like, you know, I probably may have had, like, one rhyme when I was 11 or something like that. But, you know, after that, like, you know, you just in there, you just trying to figure yourself out. So I had 2 friends. One was, like, a little more of, like, the chess table kind of dude.
Yeah.
The other one was kind of like me, like, in-between style. Like, so we used to chill with pretty much the basketball team table. But we didn't really fit in with the basketball team. You go to the chess table, we not really, you know, chess table people.
Yeah.
You know, they bring out the Yu-Gi-Oh cards and all that, which is cool, it's dope, know what I mean? But it wasn't really our thing or whatever. So it's like, all right, what are you really going to do? So then that's when I got introduced to, you know, Twan Mars at the time, and whatever the case is. And Twan was the rapper of my grade.
Okay.
Or whatever. So this was like before I started really rapping and whatever. So Twan was the rapper I grade. His name was Chris Style at the time, and Twan run around and try to like just rap for everybody. And he wanted to be a part of this one rap crew that was in the school or whatever, which was called Christ at the time, which was Zonnie and a few other people, Jay Means and a few other people that actually signed to the Mevelist later on. But
I remember Means.
Yeah, Means and everything. Yeah. So Twan pretty much was trying to be a part of them, but they ain't really want Twan in. So they used to give Twan battles or whatever, like, you got to battle these people to get in. And they be difficult, they be like some real MCs or whatever, know what I mean? So at that time, Twan was kind of a flashier rapper. At the time, he was like kind of flashy. So these people like more battle rap, Murder Mook style.
Right.
So Twan, I don't know, one day he was like, I'm going to just have to switch my style for this battle. And he switched his style on him and actually wound up murdering one of the dudes or whatever the first 3 rounds. The dude snuck in the extra round and kind of like edged Twan a little bit, but Twan pretty much was looking like the victor at the time. So that's my 9th grade, like kind of like, highlight to, that kind of situation. Just watching Twan kind of go from, pretty much just being just a regular MC to kind of getting his way into the circle of, getting into the school studio, because we had a school studio as well.
Oh yeah, y'all was then y'all had to fight for for studio time, huh?
Oh yeah, like it was real, like it was like a real competition at the time, But we held it down though, like we held our own for what it was, you know what I mean? Because like pretty much the grade above us, they ran the studio. Pretty much, they're the reason why the actual studio was in the school and everything like that. Shout out to HO and all of them, the whole team, Christ and all of that. But they're the reason why the studio was there. So we had to pretty much prove ourselves to them in order to actually get slots and even get time in the studio. Like even when I first got into the studio with Twan and Diggs, they was in there before me. Even though I was spitting bars or whatever, just because I was a vocalist to a certain degree, and I was singing hooks the first like 3 to 6 months before I even rapped in the joint.
Yeah,
I was just a hook.
You was a singing, you was a singing nigga. Yeah.
Straight up, like I wasn't doing. They was giving me no verses on the joint.
Yeah.
But through the battles in school, like 10th grade, you start stepping up in 10th grade, and it was Charles Hamilton, Kev. Was it 10th grade? Yeah, I think it was either 10th or 11th grade. It might have been my 11th grade year. My 11th grade year, I think Charles came in. And, Charles, me and Charles rapped or whatever. Charles started rapping for us or whatever. We seen he was kind of all right or whatever. So me and him actually battled his first, like, week in school. And he kind of edged me in the lunchroom, which made us take it further to where, in the auditorium or the hallway or whatever. We wound up finishing the battle there. And that's how, kind of started the rivalry with us. Now, to bring it into, our whole, like, big rivalries or whatever, Charles pretty much was in a grade younger than us. There was a few, couple MCs, shout out to Bird, shout out to Cav Money or whatever, that was actually dope in their grade, but they always wanted our position in the studio, and they felt like they was able to challenge us and shit. So
now y'all the gatekeepers.
Yeah, that whole rivalry was like kind of real, because even the grade above us, they were so much of them dudes. They didn't really have to battle too much to prove themselves, because they ran everything. We had to kind of battle niggas to hold our spot and to keep everybody at bay, to know that we kind of deserved to be where we was at. So, we had to really like fight to get our respect or whatever. But it was earned though. You know what I mean? It was earned. Definitely earned. And then you get to that was like 11th grade year of the battles and all of that, which was dope. And then you get senior year to where we start fading off the battle scene and wanting to be more of like recording artists, and that's when you start these get these songs from Twan, you get these songs from me and Diggs and all of that as a collective. And pretty much Charles Hamilton is not even on the scene at this point. He kind of dropped out of school or whatever, went to go do his own thing.
Right.
And we were running the studio and shit like that, and just in there recording and doing our shit. But they brought somebody else into the school to actually run the studio, so we wound up getting kicked out based on us not wanting to sign up for whatever program that they had going on.
Right, they tried to bring an after-school program. It was like, nah, we are the after-school program.
Or whatever. So it's like, you're trying to take people that you used to let just sit there, well, teenagers at that. You're trying to take teenagers you used to let rock out and create whatever they wanted to create after school. Now you're trying to give them a structured kind of, program or whatever. It's like, nah, we wasn't with it. So it kind of like drifted us away from there and brought us into a more hood aspect to where we are actually signed like a hood deal from like, you know, some drug dealers from around my block or whatever, you know what I mean, my older cousin mans or whatever, and started kind of signing those deals, which, you know, kind of got us to certain places or whatever, but ultimately ain't really work out to nothing or whatever, you know what I mean? And then after, you know, high school situation, you get to college, and that's when life really started hitting for us, you know, so that's when you get college aspect. Graduate. You got Charles Hamilton is actually about to get his deal with Interscope at this time, and you know, think about that shit. You in a college dormitory, the nigga you was battling last year is that ass about to get a deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's going on? I think I made the wrong decision. So it's like, you know, you're away in school or whatever. Pretty much like I wanted to go to audio school, which they got a big audio school in New York called IAR.
Okay.
I actually wanted to go there. To IAR, but my mom, your mom wants you to get a degree and get a job and all of that. So she like, yo, I'm not signing you up for that. You got to go to school. So I'm like, all right, look, if I'm going to school, I'm going to fall away or whatever the case is, because I'm not sitting in the hood and not doing music to the capacity I want to. I'm gonna get into selling drugs or doing something weird, while I'm out here. So it's like, yo, let me just go away, and that's what made us kind of pretty much go away. But while we made that decision, instead of trusting in the fact that defying, not necessarily defying, but being more focused on what we wanted and overcoming whatever obstacles we had in the city, we went away. And while we went away, Charles and them, kind of capitalized on having that studio and stuff like that, and they was working their asses off to where they, started getting their recognition and their buzz to where he actually got his deal with Interscope.
So he left the school, but still was coming back.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much was coming back. Because FDA, you understand, if you ever went to FDA or even ever visited around those times or whatever, you understand, like that building had a vibe and a kind of aura, which always just made you want to be there.
Okay.
Like, I ain't really started having perfect attendance in school until I got to high school, pretty much, you know what I mean? Because you always wanted to be in school because you ain't want to miss something.
Yeah.
There was something always popping off. The lunchroom, it was either a fight, a rap battle, somebody dancing and showcasing something, being silly. Like we used to have people used to do silly dances, pop out the school garbage and all of that dance. So,
yeah,
it'd be just fun. Yeah, it'd be like a fun environment or whatever. And we had mad girls in the school too, so it just made you want to come and just interact and just be social.
I think I say this all the time. I'm like, the creativity that we had in our high school, if we had the access to the technology that they have right now, we would have been on.
Oh yeah, definitely, because I feel like we believed in the craft.
Exactly.
More than, like this new generation, they just want the accolades and the celebrations of it. Like, nah, we wanted to be great. Period.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
And we had the talent for it.
Yeah, we wanted to be the best. Like that was like we grew up knowing that we wanted to be the best. Them, they don't really want to be the best. They just want to be the most popular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that has a lot to do with why the lower generations or the younger generations have so much problems with like anxiety and depression and stuff like that, because like you said, we wanted to be the best, so we had extreme confidence for no reason.
Yeah, and almost to a default, the way it kind of made us think that we were better than what we had to work for.
Exactly. Yeah. So for them, it's like they don't want to be the best, so they don't have that confidence. And everybody's telling them that they're not shit. So it's like, oh, well, I'm nothing then. So I'm going to take all these fucking drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be the best nothing you'll ever seen.
Yeah.
But you got kind of, even when it works out, it still wind up being a negative for them. Because you feel me? They just dive a little bit deeper into, where they was at with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know how to go.
Yeah, that's real. So college, you see the bubble has popped in your old school. What happens?
All right, cool. So now you gotta understand. Now you in college. you got this girlfriend. You know what I mean? You got these classes you gotta do, and you pretty much recording and still figuring out how to get your own situations, performing at the college shows and stuff like that. But the level that you're watching it at ain't really the level that you're doing it at. So it's like, all right, damn. Now I want to get the hell out of here.
Right.
Like, damn, what my mom's gonna think, what this person gonna think if I leave school and shit like that, or maybe I could ride it out and try to do half and half, or come back and try to piece it together there. And it's like, even when you try to do it, you notice that when you go back to these classes, you got to go back to your dorm or whatever the case is. Even though you ain't depressed or nothing like that, but in the back of your spirit or deep in your spirit, you want to be doing what these dudes is doing.
Right.
You want to be a part of this situation or whatever. So what I used to do every chance I came back to the city, whether it be spring break or whatever, instead of going to, Cancun or whatever the case is, I would go chill with Charles and them. I would try to go, make my presence known in the studio, get beats, rap with them, figure something out. But
right.
then as they progressed and the more that I even kept doing that, you see that the opportunity even for myself started to fade where they started to focus on their more inner circle or whatever. So it's like, all right, damn, like they rock with me or whatever, but they got things going on that when I'm not there, whatever, that they got planned to when I pull up, things are not going to stop for me in order to just fit me into the loop.
Right.
I'm not there.
Right.
So it's like, all right, now I got to figure out how to get my crew, which is, it's me, Twan Diggs at the time, and JB.
Right.
How can we either compete with them or be a part of this without actually being under the total umbrella to where we can use the situation? So we went to HO, pretty much for, guidance or whatever. And I don't know whether he was too busy at the time or what he had going on, but it was like we felt like a little bit of nonchalantness from the situation or whatever when we asked him, to kind of manage us or whatever. So it's like, all right.
Yeah, he was focused on that big check.
Yeah, which, ain't nothing wrong because I ain't never been in that position that young,
Right,
what I mean?
right, yeah, y'all all was 17, 18, like.
Yeah, like H was probably like 24 or something like that.
Yeah.
Was probably like 18, 19 or whatever.
Show was like 16, 17.
Yeah, so it's like, yo, at the end of the day, like, you got a bunch of young people in a situation where big money is about to come. Yeah, attitude's going to change and all that. So we never, really faulted him for that, but we recognized that situation really wasn't for us. So,
right.
We always rock with Charles. I'd see Charles out and about. He always showed me love. It was always love, or whatever the case is, when I seen Charles or whatever at that time. But, he was, into his shit. He had to, flying back and forth to LA or whatever. So, like I said, when I ran into him, everything was always love. But, during the separation was never really a reach out for us or whatever the case is. Even regardless of whether they felt like we was good enough or not good enough or whatever the case is, it just wasn't a reach out. And we accepted that or whatever. And we ain't, feel no kind of way about it. We just wanted to build our own. And that's what we got to 212 Music. Now, mind you, when you get to the 212 Music aspect, that's when you get this, me in college, I'm going through something or whatever, mentally, because it's like, all right, I'm in college, I don't want to be here. I'm watching Charles and these niggas get on. I want to be doing that or whatever. They're making the music that I really want to be making to a certain degree. See, they coming back with these 90s samples. They sampling TV shows. These niggas is going crazy. Like Charles and Shalik, what they was doing.
They was going stupid.
Yeah, what these niggas was doing musically at that time when it came to sampling, it was like almost like the next level Kanye or back to a Puff mix with a Kanye kind of vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can mix Bad Boy and the Kanye era of Rockefeller, whatever. Those was the vibe you was kind of getting with a little dab of the Heat Maker Dipset.
Right.
Whatever. And with this new level of, quote unquote emo rap. Because I keep telling people, Charles, Drake, and Kid Cudi, they created that whole emo rap kind of concept because they wasn't really rapping about being them niggas. They was rapping about not being them niggas.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best me I could be.
Exactly. So with that situation, you know what I mean? It just changed for us or whatever. We more flashy, so we had to kind of, find where we belong. So we get 212 Music. I'm in college. I'm going through it. My mom's hit me up like, yo, we ain't got no more money for you, for this college situation or whatever. So now I'm kind of like, what the fuck? Now y'all got me up here for 2.5 years. I could have been down there rocking out with these niggas, whatever.
Yeah, you told me to go.
Yeah, so it's like, now y'all made me come up here. Now we can't, now we ain't got no bread for the situation or whatever. But she was going through her little stuff too or whatever, back at home. So it's like, all right, what am I about to do? Now, mind you, I owe my landlord some bread or whatever the case is at the time. And I had a whole girlfriend at the time too. So it's like, all right, now I got to get up out of here. I ain't got no bread to pay this landlord or whatever. And I got a whole girlfriend. I got to kind of sneak the hell up out of here.
Man, so I got to disappear.
and I got to let Shorty know I'm out of here or whatever the case is. And this is a chick that I thought I was going to marry and all of that at the time.
Okay.
So it's like, damn, as much as you want to leave is as much as you don't want to leave at the same time.
Yeah.
So when I came back home, I walked into a lot of family issues and all that on a return. And my mom had actually sent me a Jermaine Dupri seminar or something like that with him and Andre Harrell. They was downtown at the New Yorker Hotel. She was like, yo, just go there and check it out. I think they might be signing people, whatever. Just bring your demo. But,
that's love.
The old Backstage movie where Beanie Siegel was like, yo, the A&Rs, they'll just put your CD in a big box and ain't nobody gonna listen to it.
Yep.
I was thinking that. I'm like, man, they ain't gonna be listening. I'll still go anyway. But as soon as I got there, that's exactly what it was. A big ass cardboard box. My nigga put your CD in a box. But other than that, Jermaine Dupri and Andre Harrell, they was actually talking some shit or whatever. They was like, yo, you want to be in the industry, you want to do this and that. Now, I mean, you got to be around it all the time. You got to, involve yourself within, every aspect of it.
It's your life.
You got to go do whatever you got to do to be around who you need to be around. Make it happen. So, cool. After that, now, mind you, just a backstory. My step-pops actually used to bodyguard for Puff back during the Making the Band era and all of that with the choppers and,
Right. Yeah, that was the best season.
The band and all that. Yeah, so that season, he was actually bodyguarding for him and all that. So, he had got a relationship with the studio manager. So, he's like, yo, you can intern, but, they make me go in the store getting coffee. You don't really want to rock with that. But after, the Jermaine Dupri shit, it was like, yo, sign me up for whatever. I just need to get in there. And that's pretty much how I learned how to engineer and shit. Like, he plugged me into, the management dude who was managing the studio at Bad Boy, went for an interview or whatever. Me and him vibed out, and I wound up getting in there and pretty much had to learn everything from scratch or whatever, up in Bad Boy. So
just from getting that game from JD, you made those moves.
Just that straight game. Just sitting in there at one seminar listening to JD say that made me go intern at Bad Boy. That was it. All right.
So what year is this? What year are we in right now?
We in like 08 right now, know what I mean? So we done went from like 2005 from the whole graduation battling to the whole, 2005 to 2007 college situation, watching Charles and them, get on and shit. Now we in 08 to, leaving college, the Bad Boy era now. So, yeah.
So 08, where we at? We at, who on Bad Boy at that point? Cassie just made her run. Yeah, I was about to say Cassie just made her run. The whole Cassie situation.
Like, all right, you got Cassie, but Cassie's kind of like,
That's the Diddy Dirty Money, though. Dirty Money's popping.
Nah, this not even, this is like right before the Dirty Money era.
Okay.
So we in like
the limbo.
Day 26 album.
Oh, yeah.
Then it became popping, that's it. That's
Danity, that's who it is. Yep.
Yeah. Like right before Last Train to Paris pops off. Like I'm like right in between that. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like Bad Boy is pretty much, I'm going to say on the decline because musically everybody was still pulling up the Bad Boy to get their little jewels, get their shit engineered, mix and master. So they can say whatever they want to say about that shit. I done seen everybody who was in the industry pull up to Daddy's house now, at the time to pretty much, get their situation situated pretty much.
Definitely.
It was. Yeah, like A-Rap Money remix was actually made in there. Like I had to, not even toot my own horn, but he probably wouldn't even remember this shit either. But I was actually the person that got Ron Browse into the studio to actually fuck with Puff that night to do the A-Rap Money remix and shit, because the security guards was not trying to let this nigga Ron Browse in because they didn't really know who he was and shit.
Hold on, talk about it. Take me through the story.
All right, so I'm on a store run or whatever. I forgot who the fuck I was even going to the store for or whatever, but I'm going on the store run, and as soon as I go out, the security guard Big Tim, this is my dude too. He's a dumb cool dude or whatever, but Big Tim, he be on bullshit sometimes. So he outside and he like, yo, I see him arguing with Ron Browse. Ron like, yo, I need to go upstairs and da-da-da. Puff waiting for me or whatever.
Yeah.
He like, yo, fam, I don't know you. That's what he keeps saying. Like, yo, I don't know who you are. Who are you? He's like, yo, I'm Ron Browse. He's like, nigga, that don't mean nothing.
That don't mean nothing, right?
So as soon as I come out, I'm from Harlem, nigga. We know who Browse is. This is Eat the Boy right here.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So pull out and I see Ron Browse or whatever. I'm like, yo, Browse is good. Like, what's going on? He's like, yo, they ain't letting me in the joint. So I'm like, yo, Big Tim, you know what that is? He's like, I don't know this nigga. I'm like, nah, that's Ron Browse. I'm like, he did the A-Rap Money joint or whatever. I'm like, this dude made Ether or whatever for Nas and all that. He like, oh, I ain't know who this dude was. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, go upstairs right now. So I called upstairs for him or whatever. He told Tim to let Browse upstairs and shit. But
yo,
it was one of those situations.
He said, yeah, you know that Nas song, Ether? He made that beat.
Like, it's the nigga that made Ether, bro. Like,
you disrespectful, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, well, but Browse looked, he was young when he even made Ether.
Yeah, facts.
I mean? He not an older looking dude. He probably thinking there's some dude trying to gas him.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever, but nah, Browse official.
And Ron Browse is a mad regular name.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yo, I'm Ron Browse. Like, I heard you, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, so, and that was like, I got like a lot of little Bad Boy stories and all of that, Like even me and Mario Winans used to fake joke on each other at times and shit. You know, that's my dude. One of the greatest producers of Bad Boy that nobody don't really know on the low. So, you know, it was a good experience though. You know what I mean, being there.
Yeah, Mario Winans. Yeah, he gets slept on so much.
Yeah, they really sleep on my boy Rio, man. My man, give it up.
So, 09, what happens while you in Bad Boy?
Oh, all right. So I'm in Bad Boy now. So, you know what I mean? Pretty much when I came back from college, I moved back to the city because my mom was actually staying in Newburgh at the time, but I wanted to be in Harlem because, you know, that's pretty much where everything was going on at the time. So, and this is around the time where you're starting to get the ASAP Rockies about to start, you know, bubbling. You got these Harlem teams that's starting to get popping. So, you know, it's like the city kind of quiet at this time or whatever, but, you know, uptown, they starting to click up, and everybody's starting to get their little teams and get their little situations. Tiana Taylor's kind of on a rise on her little dance scene or whatever. She's not necessarily signed to
Star Trek.
Star Trek. Yeah, she's not signed to Star Trek yet, but you know she's bubbling in Harlem as a dancer or whatever. Like we didn't even know she sang anything at that time. We just knew it was pretty much being a dancer or whatever. So
yeah, she was fly.
Yeah, and that's what's pretty much going on around that 09, and I'm at Bad Boy, and then, you know, pretty much my mom's is on some like, yo, bro, like, I feel you with this music shit and all of that, but you're like, yo, you about to be 20-some years old or whatever, like, yo, you need to be making some money and taking care of yourself or whatever, so it's like, you know, Bad Boy, they was paying us like, what, like $40 a week, bro, that was our stipend, bro.
That's
like,
ugly.
Like, bro, no Metro card, no nothing, bro. So you had to go get your Metro card with this shit and eat with that joint, bro. Don't not have a job because now you're making $40 a week. Trying to pursue your dream and all of that, you know what I mean? So, you know, you in there trying to, you know, stretch this $40 out. You eating dollar slices. Thank God for the McDonald's dollar menu at the time. You go in there and get you a McDouble, even though that shit is, you know, garbage food. But, you know, at least you can survive with that. But, you know, I go get this job, you know, trying to, you know, be a little bit more financially stable, and pretty much I go get the job. I'm working at Harlem Children's Zone, and I'm actually interning at Bad Boy. But, you know, Puff's starting to transition his way to L.A. as he's starting to get into this dirty money movement at the same time. So he done broke up the whole Day 26 joint. I think they, you know, had their little falling out. Danny Kane ain't really rocking, so, you know, they falling out. He keeps going, and he brings Kalima in, the writer or whatever. You know what I mean? Before she was actually a part of the Dirty Money, she was actually a writer.
Right.
So Kalima comes in, and he's working with Kalima and Dawn for the Dirty Money situation. Studio sessions are starting to get a little bit more slower at this time. Ain't really too much going on in Bad Boy. My only regret at that time, instead of me seeing that as an opportunity for me to have more time to do the things that I needed to do, I seen it as like the studio and everything was starting to digress. So now I'm starting to get caught up into this job situation. You know what I mean? So now I'm up in this job, and, you know, you're working with children or whatever. You start getting attached to these kids and stuff like that, and it started getting long and drawn out. So pretty much one day I got into like a little legal situation with some cops or some shit like that, and I got locked up like right after I went to Bad Boy or whatever, and I ain't never really go back because it was just so slow at that time. You feel me? Still kept my contacts with the A&Rs or whatever, but even they wasn't really even coming to work, wasn't showing up at the time because they, you know, started to feel the vibes, or, you know, whatever they had going on. Maybe they told them not to come to work, you know, as much as they used to because the budgets or whatever for the studio. But pretty much Daddy's House Studio was on the decline as far as the shutdown, you know what I mean? So I kind of noticed it early, and what I did was technician Cornell, shout out to Cornell too, that's my dude. He actually took me to Sam Mash. I had like $1,200 that I had like kind of saved up or whatever, and took me to Sam Mash to get some studio equipment.
Right.
So I went and got the studio equipment from Sam Mash, and I bought it uptown. So I'm like, all right, I could sit there and wait on Bad Boy, or I could kind of build my own studio, whatever the case is. And, you know, I knew how to work Pro Tools and all the professional equipment. And that's when the Inbox 2 actually just dropped. So it made everything damn near just as good quality as, you know, a Digio 3 or something like that, you know, which is just a higher level recording processor or whatever. So, you know, made it a little bit smaller and compact so you could bring it to your crib.
So you're in Daddy's house trying to, you know, biding your time so you can for the studio time?
Pretty much, like, I'm in there pretty much interning, just trying to, like, I ain't know what I was really trying to do there. I'm going to keep it funky. Like, if Puff could have just walked in the room and just heard me rapping and be like, yo, Playboy, like, yo, you come with me and I'm going to just put you on.
Thanks.
That's what I thought it was going to be, you know what I mean? And that's not necessarily the way to approach those kind of situations or whatever, because it can happen. Don't get me wrong. It happens like, almost like, I ain't gonna say a 1 in a million chance, but it can happen like that. But I don't know. It was just like kind of just slowing up. I could have went in there and recorded and did what I needed to do for myself or whatever, but the whole vibe, I'm a dude that work off of vibes, you know what I mean?
Right.
So if I go in the studio, I don't care if it's $1 million equipment. If I'm not vibing in there, it's just not me. I'm not going to create the best that I need to create. So as I was building my studio while I was interning, I created the vibe in my own crib at the time, because my grandmother had actually left me an apartment at the time. So I built the studio in there, as well as Corp crib at the time. Me and Corp actually linked up at the time, and I built the studio there. So my vibe was pretty much there. So it's like, all right, I come to Bad Boy, it's feeling like a job.
Yeah.
So a while, it's like, all right, I'm coming in here, I'm about to clean up, change the garbage. I'm about to run to the store for this nigga.
Right.
Set up the studio. All right, as soon as I set up, I'm about to do this. Somebody might have to come in and work or something. It's like,
they herbing you out?
Yeah, not even herbing you out, because you got to remember, you're not no artist there. You an intern,
yeah.
bro. So anytime or anything extra that you get other than what you're supposed to be doing is
it's a blessing. Yep, definitely.
And shit, I done recorded so much stuff in Bad Boy that, like, shit, I damn near probably Puff a couple of dollars for some sessions and shit like that.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
And people can't say that they've done that. A lot of people have never recorded in the Bad Boy studio before.
Yeah, I mean, what's so funny? When I was there, it was a rarity. Puff actually opened it up to the public at a certain time. So if you had like a good amount of money, if you had like a good $50 to $60 an hour, maybe in like year 2011, you possibly could have got you a session in the same spot where Biggie was recording that.
Yeah, because that shit was dry in there. Yeah,
but it's like they just drained all the energy at that time.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like Puff even took his vibes out of the joint. You feel me? But like I said, like I'm pre French Montana. Bad Boy era. You know what I mean? So I don't know what vibes Frenchie even probably came back and probably rekindled while he was in there or whatever. You know what I mean? So you never know. You know what I mean? You never know with the situation. But like I said, I went from there, kept my connects, came uptown, built the studio uptown, and pretty much that's where you get the 2 months music, me, Twan Mars, and JB at the time started rocking out doing that. Relinked back at Corp's crib. Charles just so happened to be coming off his deal at the time, you know what I mean? So while we actually got kicked out of my grandmother's crib and had to go to Corp crib to record there, and you pretty much damn near lived there, we was working on a mixtape that we was trying to do in 1 week. Charles wound up losing one of his deals, and he wound up at the same spot that we was at. So as we all in the same environment, Charles started recognizing that we damn near just as good as him, because he's kind of in his own kind of mind at the time as far as him being that dude or whatever. Of course,
right.
You got fucking 3 deals, and you got the biggest deal in Harlem probably since Cam or something like that.
Yeah, that was the talk. Yeah,
that was some big shit. He got like 1.9 or some shit like that. It was like crazy, but just now you back with us, and it's like, all right, let me hear something. We playing you shit. And you like, hey, hold on, Kate. You make beats damn near just as good as me.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, yeah, bro, like I'm nice too. And it was like a whole challenge situation. Some shit happened. I have gotten to a beef with somebody in my crew, and I wound up doing a diss track on a Max B beat, I think it was. Charles wound up coming in, hearing my diss record, and he jumped on it. As soon as Charles jumped on the record, I go to work, because I think I was still kind of half and half at my job at the time. I was kind of on like the nights there, but I go to work or whatever for like half a day. I come back, and Charles jumped on the freestyle.
Right.
He put it out on the internet. Now I'm on 2 Dope Boys.
What song is that?
Viral. I got niggas calling my phone that I ain't hear from him. It's like, yo, bro, you on the internet, bro? And it's like, yo, the fuck? It's like, yeah, bro, like you on like mad different websites and shit. And it's like, damn, like all I did was drop a freestyle venting about my man, and I went to work, and I come back now to join these on mad digital platforms. And
yeah,
shit.
he
like
wasn't playing.
More streaming and all of that shit was kind of like a thing,
Yeah, you got to download.
Yeah, so it was like, like good little moments or whatever the case is as far as, that situation. But like I said, things were going so good at that time.
Was that track, was that Daily Schedule?
Oh, yeah. Not Daily Schedule. That was Curveball.
That was Curveball.
Yeah.
Big dog, no time for you straight cats. You bitches get curved more than a racetrack. Still, they like Earnhardt when that spark fast. I just gas to get that bird heart. Niggas is mad at the star. How you feel? Matter of fact, say your feelings for Dr. Phil. Her Oprah, pocket full of Oprah, Coastra Nostra, hanging careers up, posters.
That was Curveball. I'll tell you how Daily Schedule happened, though. That Daily Schedule was funny, though. Like, I mean, I made daily schedule. Nobody was in the studio that night or whatever. So I think Charles, everybody there at Bounce. I was in there. I just cooked that joint up. Like I don't really even. That's not even my type of beat to really make.
I'm gonna cut you off real quick. All right,
go ahead.
I got Corpse House in my iTunes. I literally have it pulled up right now.
That's fire.
So talk to me.
That's fire. Corpse House. All right, let's talk about Corpse House.
No, daily schedule.
Daily schedule? All right, daily schedule. Let's get to that. Daily schedule. Me and Twan was living in the same crib at that time, so that's what that track is pretty much about. Featuring Charles, his own, like, you know, just going crazy.
Yeah.
Now, what Twan is talking about in his verse on daily schedule is everything's 100% real. What I'm talking about in my verse, 100% real. Basically, my ex, she was my girl at the time. She had a friend that used to come over. Twan basically was in a halfway house. Another long story or whatever, but he was like in between jail and being home or whatever.
Right.
Twan moved back into my crib, so now we stand at the same crib. Twan's dealing with my ex's friend, so everything you hearing is that whole concept of Twan's transition from the Phoenix house back to living at my crib.
Yeah.
So all of that, I text K, told him text L. I mean, like all that kind of like, yeah, like that's all real. That's all real. Word. Even me. Getting fired. I'm talking about getting fired in the rock.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about my supervisor acting like an asshole and all that. That's real shit.
Scoops, strolling the J.O. a little late though. Supervisors and a-hole. Fuck that. Give me my payroll.
Nah, like Charles is different. I'm telling niggas like this. He's a different dude. He lives off of the randomness of his thoughts, I feel. You know what I mean? So
that's a great way to put it.
And to feel like he likes to excite himself by not even knowing what he's gonna say.
Right.
So when he goes in there, there's either two things you're gonna get. You're gonna get the greatest Charles you ever got, or you're gonna get a Charles that you don't understand. I'm not even gonna say the worst Charles. You're just gonna get a Charles you don't understand. But that moment you get that greatness, bro, he's gonna give you some shit like daily schedule verse, like, which is, I feel like, one of the most elite Charles Hamilton verses you hear, as far as just the whole, you know what I mean, the metaphoric aspect of it. You know what I mean?
So we all living together now. One thing I like about y'all was, even with the Demebelist shit, it was, them niggas was like the Power Rangers.
Yeah, nah, dead ass. All right.
And then once with that 212 started hitting, y'all niggas was like the Power Rangers. It was like the next season. It was like,
yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. He was like, that's dope. That's
y'all was like Power Ranger Turbo or some shit like that. Y'all was,
facts. And that's just because we all, you know, actually been in the studios together. We come from the same school. We come from the same neighborhoods. The vibes that FDA got, we all hone them. Like, even when it comes to like certain lingos and shit like that, we all got pretty much the same lingos and the same understanding. So you put FDA people in the same room, I don't give a damn, we ain't see each other in 20 years, you're gonna get this kind of family feel. You feel me?
Yeah, that's so. How'd you link with Corp?
Corp, we all went to FDA. Like, everybody went to FDA. So Corp, I knew Corp in 10th grade pretty much. I think we had like biology together, and that was like half of like gym class on certain days, like gym and lab class or some shit. So I knew him then. And Corp used to be like the snack hustler in school. You know what I mean? Like, he the nigga you want to go to the bathroom, he gonna be in the bathroom with the snacks. Lunchtime, he gonna have all kind of snacks or whatever. So that's what it was for him. And Corp just always had this kind of hustle mentality with him,
right?
Or whatever. Like, he was the one in high school. Like 10th grade, he was working like full time at IHOP or some shit like that or whatever. And you go in there, he'll throw you the extra little, you know what I mean, hash brown or something like that with your meal or something. So, you know, he's always like to kind of look out.
He's the plug.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how me and him actually, you know, kind of became cool. And when I was actually interning at Bad Boy, I had came back to FDA to kind of link up with Charles and them, but Corp was actually there at the time. And, you know, pretty much all the equipment that they had at the studio was elite, and I actually was at Bad Boy that had the same, you know, equipment. So I'm naming everything they got in the studio. Everybody looking at me like, how the hell he know all of this?
Right.
And it was like, because I'm interning. So Corp kind of recognized that, like, yo, let me get your number or whatever the case is. Just so happened the day that Corp called me, the day that I tried to throw extra RAM into my computer, my computer crashed. So I got all of this. I got $1,200 in equipment, no computer. Corp got equipment and don't got $1,200. I mean, he got a computer, but not $1,200 in equipment. So we just merged it like that.
Perfect.
And he's from my grandmother's neighborhood. So it's like, I know the vibes up there by Sugar Hill. Everybody ain't grimy over there like that. You know what I mean? You get your little slick people or whatever, but it's more of a like, it's a more like subtle, cool vibe. So I'm like, all right, if I'm going over there with him, it got to be cool vibes. Corp wound up having a nice apartment with a balcony and all of that too. Just created like more vibes or whatever. You know what I mean? So this is what it was with me and Corp. It was just off the vibes kind of aspect. You know, kind of pulled up. I had the equipment. He had the computer. We synced it. It worked. I recorded him. He recorded me. We got work done or whatever. And, pretty much, I try to, help him cultivate himself as an artist just to kind of bring himself up. Because, pretty much I was the rapper in high school. Not to say, I don't know whether he was rapping or not in high school, whatever the case is, but, not on the, the front stage platform. So in order to get him to that point or whatever, it's like, we was just doing like, like high-level artist development, with each other.
Yeah, and y'all had that knowledge of it because y'all was around it.
Exactly. So yeah, exactly.
So Corpse House is the first project y'all did together?
Corpse House, yeah. No, actually we did. Damn, what was the first? We did another project back in high school where we kind of like jumbled up a bunch of tracks that we had, but that was the first official project that we actually all had together, pretty much. Charles wasn't even supposed to be on as many tracks as he was on that project. It just happened because we were just vibing, and that's how we vibed together. You know what I mean?
You just hopping on shit.
Pretty much. That's how Charles do. Like, Charles will come into your studio session, my nigga, like, yo, let me record that. Like, and it's like, the nigga who Charles is and the level that he's gotten to is like, yo, you don't know what you might get from this man. So
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
yo, let him go record it.
Yeah, real.
Let him lock in, you know what I mean? 'Cause you don't know what you might get or whatever. But it was dope vibes, though. It was definitely dope vibes. We did that shit in a week. That shit didn't take long. It was only 1 week that we did it. We barely slept. All we did was drink 5-hour energy drinks and smoke mad food the whole time. Like, word.
What's your favorite track off of that project?
Oh man, shit. I ain't gonna front. I'll say probably like the intro would be one. I can't really, put one above. Daily Schedule definitely one, just because like the whole like concept was just official. What's the other one?
I like 'em fat. I like 'em tall.
Yeah, like that was cool though. You know what I mean? That was cool because it was all for real vibes. But I'm trying to think. What's the joint where I was like, when I did the countdown in the beginning of the joint, that was one of my hardest joints because I didn't write that record. That was like the first record that I didn't write. We're gonna start it in 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Harlem Star, hold the heavyweight, no sumo. Cop Piff from Spanish niggas look like Menudo. Like, so it's like that. That right there was elite to me because it's like, yo, the beat was hard. I didn't write that record, you know what I mean? And to hear Diggs and Twan to come on after me and be just as witty as I was in the intro or whatever the case is, it's like they embodied everything that I felt like the track was supposed to be. So I'd probably say that would be my favorite joint. I can't get the name of it off top though. But that was cool. Hot Like Fire was definitely dope at the time.
Yeah, that waiting for like you say, you nigga. With the braids and shit.
Yeah.
Wait for my light, nigga. Still waiting for my light, nigga. That shit. That bud, nigga. Hear you. Braids and shit. Hey, yo, K. Krabs, what's good, my nigga? Be alright.
And that energy right there, that's why I love my team or whatever, and I love being in the studio with Twan, because like we play in the studio, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Even if you hear like the little skit that was on the joint, the monster skit or whatever the case is, it's like, bro, we do that on a regular basis. Like that was just something that we do on a regular and recorded. You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna keep it real with you. When me hearing this shit at 18, 19, I'm like, these niggas is the East Coast Dog Pound.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's dope though. That's fucking dope.
These niggas are DPG out here. Y'all got the skits. Y'all all hella funny. Y'all got stupid bars, and y'all producers. Yeah,
that's dope. That's dope. Nah, that's dope. That's dope. That's a dope comparison. Shout out to that. Word. Shout out to that. But yeah, man, that was good, humble beginnings. I mean, I'm really on this mix and master now, so I think about the quality of those records, and it's like, damn, like as good as they was, if we'd have got the joints mixed properly, bro, it'd have been that much great. You feel me? But
because it's bars on there. It's bars on there. Just the quality and shit.
Definitely bars. You gotta understand, like the place, like yo, we was all homeless, bro. Like everybody, like me, Charles, Diggs, everybody on that album didn't have nowhere to go, and that's why we wound up at Corpse House, and that's why we named it Corpse House. And we all felt like it was like a hellhole at the time, where we felt like dark energy. So that's why we threw the whole Halloween theme, the whole dark theme on the whole joint. You know what I mean? It was just dope vibe. And like that Corpse House mixtape opened up so many doors for us, just on the industry level, to just get certain kind of recognition or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people online that got those records kind of just scattered around on their own personal pages as fans of Charles. You know what I mean? We gained new fans off of it. You know what I mean? It was just dope. You know what I mean? Dope vibe.
So let's talk about your solo career. So after Corpse House, what do you do next?
Yeah. So now we start getting to this. Now, so Twan went solo on us first. That's how this shit always started. You know what I mean? So let's get
he was the Omarion in the group, huh?
Yeah. So Twan used the whole Corpse House situation as fuel to his whole spaceship in his own sense. You feel me? The whole Martian-made ship. So right after that, that's when he dropped the Venus from Mars.
Oh my God, that shit is so crazy.
Now that right there, like, I mean, that man put so much work into that joint as far as just making sure he made his points on every record or whatever, and it was like, yo, Twan did his thing on the joint, you feel me? But Twan had to separate himself from everybody in order to even get that project done.
Right.
Now, when he's working on that made me like, all right, what's up, bro? Like, y'all niggas is going solo, and the nigga like, y'all gonna leave me in the dust? Like, what's going on? It's like, all right, I started working on Black Roses. So, when I started working on Black Roses,
hey, I'm not gonna like nobody is feeling this as much as I'm feeling this right now. Cause they was asleep. They ain't even know. I've been through all this. I've been here through all of it. This is I'm fanning out right now.
That's why this is like going to be the more like I ain't gonna front, bro. This is like probably going to be the greatest interview from now to even at the end. I ain't gonna front. Barbara Walters probably couldn't even do nothing that's gonna be greater than this, because this is real. You know what's going on. You feel me?
That's facts.
But Black Roses, like, I was in a dark space at that time. I just came off of, like, you know, I lost my crib, my girlfriend, and my job all in a matter of like 2 months span type. Damn. So it's like where I was at was just in a whole dark place. But in that sense, it started to make me reflect on a lot of things, and that's when you get like those crazy productions, and you get more of those kind of melodic and piano kind of vibes, and you know, you get me and Shalik on a dynamic duo on a production or whatever, and it's like, you know, like I ain't gonna front, me and Sha together, regardless, you know what I mean, whatever personal situations me and him might have on musically, I ain't gonna front. Like when it come to creating and getting these samples or whatever, and mixing and mastering and shit, we kind of be doing our thing or whatever. So that whole Black Roses situation, that was like the start of like my solid solo career, because I dropped a couple mixtapes before that or whatever, which was dope, but none of them really had any concepts like the Black Roses. So then you get into that, and then that, you know, kind of brings you to the upstate escape, you know, aspect or whatever, you know what I mean?
So during the time of Black Roses, you say you lost so much stuff. So how was that affecting your music?
Oh nah, like if you even listen to the intro of Black Roses.
Oh, I've listened.
Like I'll walk you through the whole like aspect of feeling like betrayal a little bit, you know what I mean? But still trying to keep some kind of positivity in your mind as far as knowing that nobody can really stop you from being on your path. So it's like you sit there and, you know, you hear the first joint and you hear Desiree, shout out to Desi or whatever, and you hear her, you know, singing over the hook or whatever, and she's kind of embodying everything that I felt at the time just on the joint. Like Black Roses, you know, if you know what Black Roses is, it's pretty much like symbolic of almost like dead love or something like that, or like lost love. And I was kind of losing my love for people. I felt like they was losing their love for me at the time. So that's where you get the whole Black Roses concept. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, that Black Roses. Yeah, that definitely was a dark project.
Yeah, even if you hear like certain things that I'm talking about, and you know, just talking about like, you know, my interactions with my friends, and you know, feeling like, you know, like I said, like a lot of betrayal in that joint. Like you hear a lot of betrayal. You hear me talking about my exes, and you know, a lot of like, bro, there was a lot of interpersonal things that I kind of started to reveal on myself on that project.
Yeah. So does that come from the fact that you've seen that the more introspective side of music is available does Charles have anything to do with that introspection?
Yo, you know what's so crazy? I ask myself that sometimes, you know what I mean? Because I definitely wasn't that type of rapper before, you know what I mean? The whole emo situation, but it's like, what am I going to sit here and do? I'm going to be rapping about hoes, bitches, and popping bottles and a bunch of shit that I don't do, and I know that I'm feeling fucking sitting here, and my heart is broken right now. You feel me? And I'm broke. It's like, nah. It felt way better than everything that I ever rapped before in my life. You feel me? Because everything else, pretty much before that, is like almost, I call it almost like vague optimistic. Like you talk about things that you think that you want to acquire to be, instead of, you know, talking about what you're going through. And people go through things in life, you know what I mean? You here to relate to people, not try to act like you're better than them. You know
Facts. Yeah, the rap is lofty goals.
Exactly.
When you broke, it's like, yeah, I want to have the diamonds, I want to have the cars, I want to have the bitches, but it's like I'm sitting here in a shelter right now.
Exactly. And it's like, yo, like, you don't think there's nobody else in the shelter that you could probably reach out to, and some of the words that you say based on your situation might could motivate them to kind of even get out of it, or, you know, just feel like somebody understands them a little bit more.
Yeah, that's real. So we move from Black Roses to Solar Flare.
I mean, well, Solar Flare came out before Black Roses, but we could talk about Solar Flare.
Originally in the beginning of the episode, I told you that it was this one sample that really stuck with me. It was Crush. Oh, Crush? Yeah, what was Crush? Yeah, Crush was on what? That was on Solar. That was on Solar,
right?
Yep.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Now, Crush. Who produced Crush? I think Shalik produced both Crush. I think, did he? No, I produced Crush too. Yeah, Shalik produced Crush 1. Crush 1, that record means so much to me. I'm gonna keep it funky because R.P. Casto, that was like that nigga's best verse that I ever heard that nigga spit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a real story. That song is actually about me being at work. I had a girlfriend that I used to actually work at the job with or whatever. You know what I mean? Me and her was dumb close and cool or whatever. But this other chick actually came to my job or whatever. And she was like, I mean, mad attractive. And, you know, I'm a Leo and she's a Sagittarius. If you know about like zodiac signs, Leos and Sagittarius, they actually got this kind of like vibe that kind of just goes down.
Right.
Now, my girl was a Cancer at the time, but, you know, she's mad loving and catering or whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got this Sagittarius and she's mad adventurous and she's kind of doing certain things that my girl ain't really doing at the time. Like, you know what I mean? She's just more in tune with just me, period, at the time. So, I don't know. You start getting these crushes on, you know, somebody who you ain't really supposed to have a crush on, and it's like you start, like, fantasizing about the things that you know what I mean, would do to her if you actually had the opportunity to, and that's what the Crush whole record is pretty much about. Like, me just fantasizing if I did have that moment with Shorty, what would happen in the situation, you know?
She's a working girl, I know cause I work with her at the job wearing things she ain't supposed to wear, like them short dresses, heels with them leggings, 8 o'clock in the morning, want her for breakfast, had one brunch date, I need a lunch break, so I could get in her box, see how her lunch tastes, and her rump shape, get in her bunch frank, compared to other guys, I'm above.
That's real, because I think as a man, we all had that situation before. And that's what goes back to you saying it's somebody in the shelter that can relate to that. It's somebody at a job who got that girl who, they work wife.
Yeah, exactly. Because even like in the first line, like she's a working girl.
Yep.
I know because I work with her
I work
at the job. You know what I mean? So, you know, like I just went straight into it, like straight at it. Like, this is what it is.
You ever let her hear it?
You know what's so funny? Nah. You know what I mean? Nah. Because at that time when I actually started like truly creating those things or whatever, I was in like mad like crazy shit with my girl or whatever, so to even play it for her would have been starting some shit, you know what I mean? Because that probably made her a little bit more on my body at the time. So, nah, like, that was just one of those, she probably, I don't know if she ever hit that joint, but it was dope, though. Or you can't play with fire sometimes, you feel me?
You slide in her DMs and don't say nothing, just send
but I actually did
send
go
that
on a
song.
brunch date with her, though.
Oh, okay.
I did go on that brunch date, though.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it was I said it was Cassie, but it was definitely the Ryan Leslie, which is pretty much the same person.
Okay, yeah.
You sampled that gibberish, that Ryan Leslie gibberish.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy? I just heard that album right before I heard that beat. So When Shalik actually produced that record too.
Okay.
Like when Shaw played that for me, it was kind of crazy because I was in Bad Boy and they had that album in the top, and I used to just listen to it on the low. I ain't even let nobody even know I used to listen to that Ryan Leslie album.
Yeah.
Like that. And for Shalik to sample that song, which was one of my favorite songs on the joint, was crazy. I'm like, oh, nah, I gotta do this joint. Gotta do it. And it just fit the situation at the time between me and the other girl or whatever. So, you know what I mean? Made sense. And, you know, the sample is that I'm digging you. I'm digging you. So it's like, all right, I'm digging Shorty, but I ain't supposed to be with her, so let's get it.
Yeah, but man, you have to just hold that down. It's like, I'm going to just write a rap about you. I did the same thing. I did the same thing.
I used to get in trouble and all of that. It ain't that easy. It wasn't just a rap. But it's like, you know, instead of acting on the situation, I just wrote about it a little bit more because it almost got to the point where we could have. But, you know, like one day, like just a little side story or whatever. But one day I actually got fired. No, she actually got fired, and I was suspended from the job. And we actually crossed paths on our way. She was getting fired from the job, and I was going to the job to pick up some paperwork for my suspension. And we crossed paths, and it was like, all right, you fired and I'm suspended or whatever the case is. Why don't we go do something?
Right.
And she's like, oh, why don't you come hang out with me? And I was just like, nah, I don't know right now. It's like, you just killed the moment and shit. So
yeah, exactly. I'm out here.
It be like that because I had a girl and it was like, it was so perfect, but it was like, nah. And I ain't really a shicey dude. I'm real loyal. I'm a loyal dude. So you know what I mean.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I got caught up with a girl who I was just liking, and my girl was like, "Who is this bitch?" I'm like, "It's my coworker." It's like I have never done anything with her, but we're feeling each other. And she had a man too. I had the girl, and we just never act on it. I'm like, yeah, I can feel this way about somebody else. Like I'm not cheating on you.
Yeah, but that'd be crazy because you be feeling like you're cheating and all that. It's like, no, like I ain't even do that. I just like Shorty, but I'm feeling funny.
Yeah, I'm with her all the time, and we connect. Even if it's not romantic, I still feel a way about her. It's like exactly. And then that's just growing up in maturity and all that. So you live and you learn with those situations. Definitely. You learn not to tell your girl the next time.
Facts. Crazy, but that ass.
So next is what? Upstate Escape.
Yeah, you get Upstate Escape. Now that was just me, exactly what it was. Now I got kicked out of everywhere in Harlem, so I had to go upstate to my mom's crib. My mom's actually had a crib upstate on 9 acres. It's like a little mini mansion and all of that. Twan and all them actually that came up with me, and we built these vibes there, but they actually left, and I stayed up there, and the vibes were still there. So, I just created Upstate Escape, and while we was up there, Shalik used to come visit me over that summer too, and we used to get into a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Like that ass. Like we'd be winding up at these bars, and we run across like certain random females, and they'd be trying to jump out the car while we driving. It was like so much like different shit or whatever. So like that kind of like mixtape was just like the expressions of me going through like those little fun adventures on top of like little backstories of reflections of the things I was going through back in Harlem as well. Like, like the little dates and all of that. And, I had a fight with my little cousin or whatever the case is. That was actually in one of the records. My Bad record. You know what I mean? All I can say is My Bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah. First, I gotta apologize to my cousin Lie. I didn't intend to let my knuckles fly. Besides, sticks and stones should only break bones. But your words hurt, but now the pain's gone. Forgive and forget, I should never live with regret. Still, I gotta keep my niggas in check. Yes, I'm a king to these little pawns. I'm most strong and I'm who the game want. I'm from the same hood, been in front the same stove. Puff the same blunt, fuck the same smut. Cuff the dame once, I couldn't blame her. K always stay the same, they just change up.
Yeah, that was one of them joints. That was by my little cousin or whatever, because pretty much, my younger cousin, he getting older, he's starting to feel like he's a man, he's feeling himself. He looks up to me and he sees me at a certain light. So to be 23, 24 years old and not to be in a position that he felt that I was supposed to be in at the time.
Right, letting him down.
Yeah, so he started to kind of look down a little bit upon me or whatever, which kind of got us into some shit. So it's like, after we wound up getting into that. I don't know. I kind of wanted to write a rhyme about it or whatever. Know what I mean? And apologize to him on the platform versus just saying sorry to him regularly because it's like, all right, you always brush that off or whatever. But it's like, yo,
this forever.
Apologize to you first, and then let me break down to you why I am the way I am towards you or what's going on in my life, bro.
Right,
and,
right.
You know, you sitting there pointing fingers, and it's like, yo, you never know. You might be in my age and in the same predicament. You feel me?
Right. Because as a kid, you think you gonna have it all figured out.
Exactly.
I work with middle school, and they're like, yeah, when I get rich, I'm gonna be like this. I'm like, yo, you might not ever be rich. You might be.
Nah, and that's a harsh reality that people gotta come to. Like, you know, like the shit ain't really made for everybody or whatever. And network is everything. You feel me?
Exactly.
So it's like you just as rich as damn near the next person or the 5 people that you pretty much around who's trying to get to whatever they try to get to. So if you're around a bunch of laxical people or even sometimes if you're around sometimes maybe people, whatever, it might not happen for you. Yeah. And people don't understand that. They think just because you are who you are, you deserve certain things in life. It doesn't work like that.
That all. I'm the next song on that track on that project is Hookah. First 2 bars. I'm with my white boys and we smoking out the room.
Now hookah, I'm gonna tell you why hookah is different for me. Hookah, what is that? That was what, like 2011 or something like that? You understand? Hookah just got popping, like 3 years ago or some shit like that? So I'm writing about hookah years ahead. I'm not even trying to toot my own horn, but it's like, I didn't even know hookah was for tobacco. I thought it was like a super bong or something like that, like multiple people. Because like basically when I got introduced to hookah, if you listen to the record, I'm talking about being with my white boys in college. Yeah. They brought me to the hookah thing. They put like a little herb in it, and they put like a little tobacco in there. So my thing, I thought hookah was like a super bong that you use with multiple people or whatever the case. You put a little tobacco to kind of get a little flavor in it, and that's just what it was. And that's where you get the hookah record from.
Yeah, you trying to hide the smell of the weed with the tobacco, and we not rolling blunts. We all got a straw.
I just thought hookah, I just thought it was just a big, you know what I mean, a super bong or something. Because they had like the 6-foot joint or something like that. And I'm from Harlem. We don't know about hookahs. We know Dutches and backwoods and all of that, and Phillies and shit. I ain't never seen no damn hookah. Like, we heard of bongs and all of that, but I ain't see a bong till I went to college.
Facts. If I don't get this Dutch, where the Dutch?
Yeah, like,
baby, I got weed, water to the top, let the pot steam. Come on, smoke on this hookah. Stay with the top breed, no dirt, these trees don't got seeds, and it's not what you used to. Take 2 puffs in a booster, have you feeling looser? Come on, smoke on this hookah. Let's turn it all to vapors, take a break from the Dutch and the paper.
Yeah, hookah was definitely a fun track to do, and it was kind of a little bit outside my style. Because it's like, you know, there's more of a South kind of style. You know what I mean?
Slow down beat.
Exactly. And it was like, that was that was my South style at the time before it even was cool for New York niggas to really even do down South type of style music. And now that's all you really hear is New York niggas doing out of town type
stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, that's real. I mean, hey, you was what ASAP dropped in like 13. Yeah, you was ahead of the curve.
Y'all, a little something. Shout out to Rocky though, now, man, because they definitely came on the scene and did something crazy. But yeah, we was definitely a little bit ahead of ourselves. You know what I mean? You just didn't have like the proper backing. Like if we'd have had like a real strong team around that time, like things would have happened way differently or whatever. But you know, things happen the way they're supposed to happen because, like I said, like even, you know, after all of those aspects, then you get to the point where, you know, shit, I started working for a pimp right after all of these situations too, you know what I mean? So, and that's where you get, you know, after that, the Great Adventures of Sneaky Bravos and, you know, your stars and all of that, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, but yeah, as far as like Upstate Escape though, back to that project, it was definitely a dope project, very therapeutic for me. Get a lot of like extra things off my chest that I probably felt like I left off of Black Roses or whatever. Get a little bit more in depth about certain things, and you know, pretty much just, you know, settle into this new wave of just trying to be an artist or whatever the case is. That's pretty much what, you know, Upstate Escape was. Like, yo, I got to get away from everything and pretty much just focus on myself, reflect, and, you know what I mean, just get to it. You know what I mean? Because even like the Hate Krills track on the Upstate Escape or whatever, it's like that was me making fun of everybody, like all the women that be looking for me or whatever the case is. Like, hey Krills, like, oh, that's like, now that I'm not around, that's what y'all, hey Krills.
Yeah, I don't see you as much. Yeah.
Now y'all want me now. Like, you know what I mean?
You want me when I'm not around.
Yeah, Yeah, it's like one of those. Like, I'm away now. Y'all love me more, I guess. You know what I mean? So that was that with the Upstate Escape. And then pretty much after Upstate Escape, I think I probably went on like a little hiatus after that, I believe. I'm not sure. But I'm just thinking about like, I probably, because like life started getting real after that. You know what I mean? You go through like these funny living situations. And, you know, Twan at the time, he's going, like, we all going through mad living situations at the time. Twan having fucked up living situations. I'm having messed up living situations. So it's like, we got this equipment, we got songs, but it's like, I keep telling people, when it comes to this music shit, you need a certain level of comfortability in order to put this shit out, or family support. You can't just be putting shit out, because if you're not consistent, one, everybody ain't gonna feel like you're gonna keep rocking them out. You're here to entertain. That's number one. I don't give a fuck how nice you are. You're here to entertain.
Yep.
And then after that, it's like, you know, you need support. You need somebody that's gonna help, you know what I mean, get you to the studio or provide this little place for you to record and actually have that comfortability to be, you know, creative. You need creative space if you're creative, you know what I mean? And that's what we was lacking at the time. And we was just fighting to figure that out. And during that, I pretty much, you know what I mean, moved back to Harlem from upstate. Me and my mom had got into some shit or whatever, and I had basically moved back down. I was staying with my homegirl, Steph. Wound up moving back to my cousin crib, where I actually had the crib at. Twan had got his own apartment. And I don't know, like, life was just seeming like it wasn't going the right way for me at the time. So I came back to Harlem to pretty much go back to pursue music again. But I don't know, it didn't feel right. It was like, all right, me and Twan not really on the same page. The whole, you know, musical aspect of the situation kind of like started to not drift off, but, you know, the whole Charles Hamilton situation started to fade out as far as Charles even wanted to be in the game and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Charles had left and went to the mental house and shit like that, or whatever the case is. So it's like, damn, we on the phone with A&Rs, we on the phone with fucking sponsors and all that. That ass want to sign us and shit like that through the whole Charles Hamilton situation. You know, the Corpse House and all the other little aspects, the Venus from Mars, the Curve, all of this, the daily schedules, all of that. This was all, you know, about to be a situation.
Right.
However, Charles leave, go crazy, and everybody fades out because Charles was the headliner of all of those situations. Yeah, y'all like Kate Krills or the Harlem Star, y'all like Twan Mars or whatever, but Charles Hamilton is what introduced everybody to that. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, and now his name is not holding no weight.
Yeah, I mean, because, at the end of the day, Charles, I keep telling people, it's the game, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the average artist get about, 2-3 albums, if that. Or,
if that,
right?
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to capitalize on it. When Charles dropped Brooklyn Girls, you got to understand, he had Fab, everybody wanted to get on this remix, and Charles didn't want them on this remix. He wanted to own the track to himself. So it was all about Charles' choices and shit like that. And do I knock Charles? I mean, based on what I would have did, I would not.
Yeah, definitely. He said, I'm trying to get this paper.
But based on what you feel like is right for you as the person, everybody make their own choices.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would hope that, you know, whatever choices he decided to make for his career, you know, whether it be, you know, for it to go or the lack of or whatever the case is, that he contended at the end of the day with his life. You know what I mean? That's all that matters. Yeah,
exactly. Because it's like that, he's always going to put music first.
Yeah. Nah, he's a musical machine, bro.
Yeah,
like,
that's just crazy.
People, like that nigga's different. He's a different kind of dude. But it's like almost like if hip hop was the X-Men, know what I mean? His power would be equivalent to Jean Grey when she turned into the Phoenix.
That's real. I mean? That's real.
You know what I mean? Like you're so powerful you can't even control it.
Right. And everything, yeah. It ain't nothing more to say than that. Yeah.
Destroy shit around you, you know.
Right.
Even yourself at a certain point. You feel me? So, yeah, that would be my concept for him. But you know, it was a dope situation with that, or whatever. You know, all the Charles Hamilton shit. But you know, after that, get Twan, we part ways. I go with the Pimp. I'm actually with the Pimp for a few months or whatever, and you know that's where you get this whole concept of the whole Smeety Bravo aspect and the whole different mind state to where it's like life and the whole lifestyle situation becomes different because now you go from being poor in the crib, you know, talking about things not going right to your whole lifestyle change and you driving Maseratis, Hummer H2s or whatever, you living like a rapper but not actually being one in the quote-unquote hindsight in the sense of being a signed artist, you know what I mean? But you live in that type of lifestyle.
Right.
And that wake you up to almost even wanting independence of being an independent artist, because it's like, all right, I could go get a deal or whatever the case is, and they could give me this shit or whatever, but I might not own it or whatever. But if I work hard and I could build this, I could kind of live just how I'm living with the pimp, just based on the legitimacy of my brand and my company. So that's when you start getting this whole spaceship talk between me and Twan, and you start creating, you know, the whole labeling and the concept around this, what we're about to do now, you know, pretty much in the next few months.
So what is this looking like? Tell me about Spaceship.
You get the Spaceship now. Spaceship comes in 2015. Pretty much, me and Twan having a fallout like what fucking normally happens every other goddamn year. I mean, that's my brother for life, though.
Yeah, that's real.
But, you know, yeah, me and Twan have a fallout in the summertime. Whatever, I don't even remember what it's for. It's always some shit, whatever. But we have a fallout, and we got this new dude that we around called named Josh or whatever. Now Josh comes into the circle, whatever. He pretty much in the same predicament, because we back at Corpse Crib right now trying to recreate this new concept. Because after I leave the pimp, that's why the pimp is so important. So when I was with the pimp, when I left the pimp and I came back to Corpse Crib, I'm like, all right, bet. When I'm leaving the pimp, I promised God that when I left the pimp that I was going to focus on music and shit, because there was so much crazy stuff going on in that whole situation. It was like, yo, I got to do something positive, because if not, I'm going to go to jail or some crazy shit.
Yeah, exactly. Your mental is just off.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole everything was off. So you come back, you try to focus up or whatever the case is on that, and you wind up back at Corp Crib where, you know, the equipment and everything is at. But I went through a high level of depression.
Okay.
When I was there, because you keep telling people, when you eating filet mignon and you know, going from hotel to hotel and you living like a rock star, even though it's nothing music oriented or whatever, and you go back to a regular lifestyle or whatever, it kind of messes with you mentally.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So you back there, you depressed. Twan's rocking right now, kind of creating some dope ass music. Putting it on, you know, SoundCloud or whatever, but me, I'm not into it or whatever, you know what I mean? So pretty much I muster up my own energy and I start creating. Me and Twan have this little fallout or whatever. We got this new dude that's around us or whatever, named Josh. Now, Josh, he's chilling around us and he's like, yo, bro, like, what y'all niggas doing with the music shit or whatever? And I'm like, I'm about to start some whole new label, and Twan doing his own thing. And he comes up with the concept of the spaceship, like, yo, bro, what happened to that spaceship shit y'all was doing or whatever? And I'm like, I mean, we can still do it, but I was like, yo, if I do the spaceship, I'm not doing it without Twan.
Facts.
I said, so Twan's not coming for the spaceship, I don't want to do the shit. He's like, oh, so why Twan ain't coming? I said, well, you call him. If Twan want to do the spaceship, then we'll get the logo done and we'll do everything or whatever. He called him. Me and Twan had a good conversation, and, you know, here we are with the spaceship or whatever. And we started doing this thing called Spaceship Sundays. Now, Spaceship Sundays was we was dropping freestyles pretty much every Sunday.
Yeah.
For, you know, probably like a few months we was going to do that shit for, but Twan wound up having a baby or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? He started, you know, had a child or whatever, and he had to move to Florida, so that's the only thing that drifted that. And, you know, just pretty much just building and doing artist development or whatever the case is we was doing at that time, because I actually got like a couple more new artists that was added on to the squad of the spaceship or whatever we was developing. We was just trying to get a lot of things done, but like I said, we got like tons of music, but it was just figuring out and, you know, coming together and trying to make the spaceship what we know it need to be, versus just having like a 2-on-2 situation where it just goes in and out. You know what I mean? Like, because I know, like, you know, even you, Simba, like, you know what I mean, just watching our whole journey or whatever, one thing you always hit me up and tell me about is the lack of consistency. You feel me? And that right there is like, if you was in the studio with us, you would know how consistent we are. You know what I mean? Like, we create and we cook all day. But as far as putting shit out for the people or whatever, we so artsy and so prestige and so meticulous about how we want to be represented and presented or whatever, that we wind up holding back on certain things, and life will hit you. And it's like, all right, bet, I'm going to wait for this, I'm going to wait for that. And that's why I started putting out City of Stars or whatever, because City of Stars came when I came back from Miami. I'm like, look, I'm tired of not putting out music or whatever. I know I got some shit. Let me give them this shit while I work on Great Adventures of Smeety Bravo and Pleasant Dreamer, which is the projects that y'all pretty much are going to get this year, as well as, you know, Jesus Was an Astronaut. I got that coming out soon. I got Invasion that I might drop, you know what I mean, which it might be like a little 4-track, just me just going crazy on it or whatever. You know what I mean?
Because music isn't the problem. Music is never the problem. The quality, the production of music and the quality of music is never the problem. The problem comes with, yo, this is a business, and we want to represent ourselves this way.
And that's what it is. And I keep telling people, when you got the team, you got to do the business, and you got to do the, you know what I mean, the creative side of it. And when you more of the elite on both ends of it, it's kind of hard to keep that glue together. And like I told people, like, like the Marcus Garvey, I call it the Marcus Garvey curse or whatever, where you hire people that you trust versus people that could do the job. You feel me?
Right.
It's like, hey, I trust you because I know you ain't going to take nothing, you ain't going to violate me or whatever, but do that mean you're going to wake up and want to do the job, though, the next day? You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing about building a team and building a brand. Now, if it was just me as just a Harlem Starter artist, yeah, we'd have been out rocking and whatever, and I could have been able to, give everybody what they wanted, but it's like we're building a brand now, like with the whole spaceship hats, which is actually doing pretty well right now in Harlem. I'm actually about to drop the T-shirts and a few, hoodies and pieces and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, like, pretty much right now, we just creating a culture, you know what I mean, for this whole thing that we about to push out for you guys in the next, 3 months or whatever. And it's going to be dope, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really want to talk about too much.
Nah. You got to keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
But, I think it's important. I think it's important to build that brand because those are the people who's going to rock with you.
Yeah, fact.
You know how difficult it is to come out dry and come out. It's billions of people out here doing the same thing I'm doing.
Exactly.
People don't know I'm here. Exactly. People don't know I'm here. I have to say, hey, I'm making a splash in the water.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm here. And then you find those people to rock with you.
Yeah, facts.
I want you to talk about real quick, how is it working with friends, trying to do business within friendship?
Oh my God, bro! Like doing business with friends, man. That can be the most difficult shit ever, bro. It's like you would rather make friends through business than make business through friends.
That's facts.
Because when you make friends through business, you already know everybody's on the same mind state or whatever. So it's like the bonding is just extra other than us trying to reach this goal. You feel me? Vice versa is like that bond can overshadow the goal. You know what I mean? Because now everybody's want to hang out possibly while this one wants to kind of get to the goal or vice versa. And then, like I said, like everybody feels entitled when you're doing business with friends. You feel me? So like, let's say me and Twan with the spaceship kind of, you know what I mean? Like, that's my best friend. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, but Twan probably has a vision for something. And I got a vision for something, you know what I mean? So my vision might clash with his vision, or whatever the case is. But the good thing about me and Twan, we know how to compromise with each other in order to make something happen. But let's talk about anybody outside of that might be friends that might want to come on and add on that don't have that same kind of connection that me and Twan have, that we can come certain, challenges that we might have. Bro, this shit is the most difficult thing because it's like people will start bringing their personal feelings. Is like almost like, yo, I'm not going to help the business out just so I can make you feel some kind of way.
Right.
And it's like, bro, are you trying to get rich? Because you said you trying to sabotage me is actually sabotaging yourself, right?
Definitely.
And that's the part where I feel like everybody kind of get messed up because they feel like to sabotage or to not do something or not be proactive about something is actually damaging somebody else when you're actually damaging yourself. You know what I mean? So you can't call somebody your friend, and when it comes to business, y'all can't figure it out. It's like, yo, bro, at the end of the day, what are we here to do? Just throw the ball back and forth or whatever the case is? We can't make any money together? Like, we can't figure that out? It's like, I don't see it.
How important is communication in those situations?
Communication is key. I've been around a lot of weird situations lately, so it's like communication is actually one of the biggest problems that I'm having with people because you understand, like, I'm a very dominant person when it comes to, like, business and things that I know and study. So if I studied it and I know you didn't or whatever, it's but so much you can tell me about the situation that I know you didn't research.
That's fine.
And what people have a habit of doing, they want to know things that they're not willing to research. So they try to have this kind of arrogance about something that they didn't research, and they'll stagnate something to try to figure it out versus listening to what you said and just getting it done. You know what I mean? So that communication of knowing that the person understands that you're not trying to do anything out of spite for them, that everything that you're saying to them, whether it be, sincere or be adamant or whatever the case is just for the benefit of the business versus me trying to be a boss or boss you around or trying to tell you what to do, because people get defiant based on ego. Definitely.
So it's like it's I'm trying to instruct you. I'm not trying to son you.
Exactly, and that's the thing. And when you're dealing with grown men that have like, you know, kind of like ego problems or whatever the case is. That's what you come across. Like, yo, you telling me what to do, and it's like, no, I'm not really telling you what to do. I'm telling you what you should do for yourself. But
right.
at the end of the day, if you don't see it, like me, I used to go crazy about, you know, arguing with people for like 3 years. Yo, bro, you're not doing this. You're not doing this shit. You're not doing that, bro. Like, yo, come on, bro. I'm trying to rap. I'm trying to get my music together, bro. Why you can't go to the print shop and get the goddamn shirts and all? It's like, yo, at the end of the day, bro, it's not for you to put your dreams or the things that you know you're supposed to do on anybody else. It's 24 hours a day.
That's real.
So it's like, you got to find some ways of getting what you need to get done. And we got to have it, our generation, we got this thing to where we want that first try to be just to go automatic, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I want when I try something once to go kind of perfect so I can feel good about it. It's like, nah, you might have to try something 50 times before you actually can get it perfect or whatever the case is. And people just don't have that patience
of
failing and you know, continuously failing until they actually can get it right.
That's real. That's real. So, my last question to you is where is the spaceship going in the next 3 years?
Oh man, like the next 3 years, bro. Shit, I couldn't even calculate that for you because we got so many things going on as far as like cartooning and merchandise is going to be one of the biggest things that we got putting out. We definitely going to drop music from, you know, the classic artists. As far as me and Twan, we definitely going to drop a lot of music between now and the next 3 years. Hopefully, within that time, we can find artists just as elite as us, you know what I mean? And, or, you know, probably even more than us that, you know, we can just keep the legacy going because it don't end with us. I don't want to be 50 years old and be like, oh, the spaceship ended with my last mixtape or my last, you know, album that I actually put out. I want to have artists, writers, do film, sports, you know what I mean? Pretty much be the next Rock Nation or be the competition of the Rock Nation aspect when it comes to the spaceship. Because even with the spaceship as the big umbrella, I still got my label So Stella under it. Twan still got Mars New York. Shout out to Beans Osito with the God's Gift situation that he's actually trying to merge with us now that we trying to figure out and make sure it's good. That's an artist that I got from Queens is actually dope. I don't know if you heard him on a few Spaceship Sundays or whatever, but, you know, he's actually a great writer. He's supposed to be coming out. So, you know, just pretty much building those kind of legacies. I got a few surprises that might come out this year on the production tip with a few, you know, known Harlem artists and shit like that. So, you know, hopefully on that, you know, come out or whatever. You know, shout out to, you know, those artists or whatever. And
shout out to them.
That's pretty much that. You know what I mean? Just trying to get this production out, you know what I mean? Be an ultimate producer, writer, and, you know, just get the spaceship to the high level, whatever the case is, you know what I mean? That's it.
How important is it to network and collaborate with different properties or different companies?
Yo, I ain't gonna front. Like, New York is crazy with that, man. Like, cause like New York niggas don't care about nobody, bro. Everybody that nigga out here. I don't even care if you started. Yo, you can start doing something somebody been doing their whole life yesterday, bro. And New York nigga think he better than you, bro. It's like, bro, like my nigga, you just started rapping yesterday. Nah, but I'm the nicest nigga in the city. Bro. It's like, bro, it's no way, bro. It's no way. I feel you on the confidence, but it's like no way you think you the nicest nigga in the city, bro. And it's like. And it's to the point where now it's like becoming so saturated where everybody's getting on with this music shit or whatever the case is that everybody feels like they can do it now. So it's like, you know, you pretty much just getting that now. Like just this oversaturation of certain things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, with what I'm trying to do, I'm on Instagram every day trying to politic with people. Like even you. Like we've been talking for the past 10 years damn near, like trying to link. Like I'm always trying to politic and like, yo, what's gonna look good for the greater cause?
Yeah.
I think that's very important to just be able to be open to collaboration, open to just like you said, like I've come in your inbox and just told you how I felt about a project or told you how I felt just as a fan.
Nah, real talk, and I always appreciated that, bro. That's why you spaceship for life to me. You know
yes, sir. Well, I wanna thank you for coming, man. Before you go, with 10 years in the game, what's the most important lesson that you learned?
The most important lesson, yo, just put everything out and don't wait for nothing. That's it. You know what I mean? And always be honest about how you feel about everything, and don't yeah, like I said, don't wait for nothing. I mean, if you're ready to go, you ready to do something, you ready to get it popping or whatever, try your best to just do it for yourself. That's it. You know what I mean? Don't wait for like, y'all know my man ain't helping me, my girlfriend ain't give me the money for the studio. Nah, that's all on you. You know what I mean? Take responsibility of everything that happens for yourself. You know what I mean? And grow with it too. That's another thing. Like, don't see it as a failure. Don't see it as something not going right. See it as like almost an elevation or a transition. You know what I mean? Because like I tell people, I couldn't even see myself being at a Drake level based on the consciousness level that I had at those times or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe a little bit richer, a couple dollars, but it's like, yo, bro, you get so lost in this industry, bro, and you'll change from who you always have been if you don't really come in this shit knowing yourself. That's another thing. You just got to know yourself, know who around you, and know what you want, and just keep going after it, bro. And I don't care if you and your dynamic duo person has been rocking out since day one. As soon as they quit on something that you feel, or as soon as they shift off of something that you feel that you want to go after, just keep going after it. They probably will come back. You know what I mean?
Respect. I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, I always want to leave the listener with my diagnosis. So okay. I got a couple of them. Number one, your daily diagnosis for this week, your weekly diagnosis.
Yeah.
Whatever industry you want to be in, make that your life.
Facts.
Number two,
facts.
Forget those lofty goals and be relatable.
Facts.
Number three, be willing to take instruction.
Exactly.
Number four, fail until you get it right.
Facts. Fail until you get this shit right. That's it. That's it.
And my last one is do it for yourself.
Exactly. Nah, that's great. All right. It's great, man. Great talking to you, Simba.
Yeah, well, let them know your how they reach you on social media.
Yeah, you can reach me on Instagram at the Harlem Star, THAHARLEM STAR, or you can reach me on Facebook at HARLEM STARR. So that's Harlem with 2 A's, Star with 2 R's. You know what I mean? And you just hit me up there on Twitter at the Harlem Star. And, just shout me out. You want to inbox me. You want to buy some beats. You want to, vibe out, see what's going on. Spaceship has everything available there. You know what I mean? And it's going to get greater later, man. Shout out to Flea Lord with the new project coming out. Shout out to Mo Chips. Shout out to the whole New York. Shout out to the West Coast. I'll see y'all over there pretty soon. And, Spaceship out, man. Yeah.
Appreciate you, brother. Hey, y'all, this has been a great episode. Y'all don't understand how much of a fan I am of him and the crew. So for him to be on my podcast and give me this game, this 10 years in the making, man. That's what I'm saying.
In fact, we gotta get Twan Mars up on this thing, and you know what I mean?
Man, link him up. Link him with me, man.
I got you, son, but I'm gonna show you some love, man. I got you. We're gonna make it happen.
All day. This has been another diagnosis by your man Simba Roar. Follow us on SoundCloud, Instagram, Spotify, Best Med Pod, BESTMEDPOD, Best Med Pod, everywhere. We taking over. Shout out to the Spaceship.
Shout out to Best Man Pod, Spaceship all day, man. You already know.
And we out.
Oh.